divorce, they won't do whatever, you know, and I kept saying, I think you need to run against him, and he's like, no. But I didn't give up, because I believe in him, and he's an awesome man. Like I say, we've been married 37 years, and I've never not trusted him, and to my knowledge, he's always told me the truth about whatever we've been talking about. And I don't know about y'all, but that says a lot about a spouse, I think.
Yes.
I believe in him. He's a godly man. He's an awesome businessman. He's great to our kids and our kids-in-law. We have both our children are married, and our kids' spouses, I call them our children too, because they, you know, they're everything to us, because our kids married some awesome kids too, so, and they had kids, so we got a lot of kids now. And we're loving it, but, you know, like so many others, we see what's going on in the world, and I just like, for our grandchildren, and your grandchildren, your kids, whoever, we've got to leave this world a better place than what it is currently. And so I kept pushing him, and I said, you're the only person I could vote for. And so that's why we're here. Yeah. Anyway, my husband, Mark Lynch. And I get great hugs too.
Well, I am Mark Lynch. I'm running for the United States Senate for South Carolina to take out Lindsey Graham. And I want to thank Amy for hosting this. Y'all have a great group here. It was humbling to hear a prayer said for me at the beginning of this meeting. That's just awesome. That touches my heart and means so much. We've had a good meeting at lunch today. We're meeting lots of people here in Saluda, and what a great group of people all of y'all are. It gives me hope as we travel all over the state when I'm seeing we are the majority. We just haven't been speaking. We've had our communications taken from us, and we've got to get that back, and we are. Trump's back, and we're taking America back one day at a time. How did I get into all this? Well, let me tell you a little bit about me. I was born in Greenville, South Carolina. We now live in Spartanburg. We moved about 13 years ago. We bought some land in Spartanburg to get out into the country some, because my son and I raced motocross together for like 17 years. We broke bones, had concussions, and there's nothing like it. It's an adrenaline sport. And it's rated like the toughest sport in the world next to soccer for endurance and perseverance as the sport goes. But jumping stuff, you know, racing dirt bikes, and it was really a thrill to do that with my son. I knew where he was every weekend. We were together. We have 4 grandchildren. Our kids, like Sarah said, married beautiful people. God's blessed us with an awesome family. I came into my father's business as a young child, all in the way, making a mess of things, tearing up stuff. They'd send me out to go get ice cream, get me out of the store when I was 4, 5, 7 years old. Later I started working in delivery and going out on the road and installing washers and dryers and TVs and antennas back then on roofs. And loved working with my dad. During college, I would come home on holidays and summers and work for my dad. I majored in advertising and public relations, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do when I got out of college in '81 at USC, and came home and my dad says, hey, we've worked together really well. I've been waiting to see if you want to buy this business or something, because I want somebody to have an opportunity. I think our customers need a choice other than a big box store for appliances, and they'd rather have personal service and people that know what they're talking about. So we looked at it and we formed a buy-sell agreement in 1983, and he gave me the reins in 1985. And back then we had 5 employees, and we worked out of a 3,200 square foot facility with God's blessing. And I'll never forget it, one day when I was praying, where my father gave me a picture of a businessman sitting with Jesus like sitting in two folding chairs talking to each other. Christian bookstores have that painting, you can get one. And it's just Jesus with a modern day businessman. And so that's the location in my office at the end of every day at the store. I hit my knees and thank God for another blessing, another day that He's given us, because without Him, I don't have anything. With Him, we have all things. And there was a moment of awe I had back years ago where I realized my wife, the dog, I don't think we had any children yet, all the employees that God had blessed us with, our staff, which is top notch in the country, the dollar in my wallet, I don't own anything. And then I had a healthy fear of the Lord that I have to, Lord, help me be a good steward over all your blessings, what you're helping me be in charge over. And when I read the Jabez prayer book years ago, I started praying the Jabez prayer, that God would bless me, my entire family today and forever be. And what that prayer means is help me steward over bigger kingdom work. So be careful what you pray for, because now the kingdom work is go to DC. That's the next mission field. My wife and I have been to a lot of places in the world, Haiti, Liberia, Central African Republic, the Dominican Republic, doing mission work. And the next field of mission work for me is Washington, D.C. We have a chapel in our store, and we have pastors on staff, right? They get tired of me preaching, so I hired 2 people to come in. We have one on Tuesday mornings and one on Thursday. We get to work at about 10 till 8. And at 8:05 to 8:35, we have a church service for our staff. And we have 110 employees now, not 5. And the business is 35 times larger since I took it over with God's help. And He's actually the center of everything is that chapel, and that's the most important room in the building. We train in it, but we have church, because our biggest investment is in our people. And we have people that stay with us for 30 plus years and retire with us. They have awesome careers, and they have a great place to work, and it's one big, huge family. And we're spending 8.5 hours a day there, 5 days a week. We're closed on Sundays. We close at 6 Monday through Friday and 5 on Saturdays. And we're a little bit of an abnormal business as a big retailer, because we work out of a 132,000 square foot facility now. We bought a Lowe's building when they moved up the street 2 miles to be first in line instead of Home Depot. And when that came open, we got it. And so we expanded. That was back in 2006. But anyway, in that chapel, we have a men's Bible study on Tuesday nights that I facilitate. And one of our members in the Bible study called me one afternoon and says, hey, I've got this guy I met. He was the head of the anti-terrorism division for the FBI for 13 years. He worked alongside Philip Haney, who helped start Homeland Security after 9/11. And I met this guy on a Heal Our Patriots retreat, a Christian retreat to help our military transition back into normal life and get over the demons and the things they've seen and all the stuff they were involved in. And he's here and he's speaking, and I want you to meet him. And we were gonna have it set up at this place called Sharpshooters Gun Club on Rutherford Road, but their facility only holds like 20 people, and we have 70 people coming. SWAT members, FBI, sheriffs and police, deputies and chiefs coming to learn about the Islamic threat at the local level. Because we're infiltrated at the hilt in Congress, Homeland Security, our military, everything we're watching going on in LA is a result of the invasion we've been under. They haven't drove tanks on Myrtle Beach or jumped in parachutes. They've just taken us over with words and controlling the narrative. And they're establishing red flag laws and hate crime bills. We're one of 2 states left that hasn't passed a hate crimes bill, with Wyoming and South Carolina. And that's come up again, and I've talked to Shane Martin about it, and hopefully they stop and they don't pass it in the Senate and the State House. But goodbye freedom of speech and First Amendment rights if we get the hate crimes bill started. They know how to talk and how to win, and they've never fired a shot. But we've all lived through the takeover of the United States on November 3rd of 2020. We lost our country with a stolen election. And Mike Pence was one of the greatest traitors in our history because he had the authority to hold the keys to the kingdom on January 20th, but more importantly, he had an oath. We read the South Carolina Republican Creed, and you know, these people are taking incentive for dole. They're bartering, taking money, getting rich. We're all paying for our demise in this country. But anyway, that night, John Guandolo came and spoke in our chapel to 70 police, SWAT, FBI people about this local Islamic threat and how to deal with it. 10 of us were there from our Bible study too. And our chins were on the ground when he covered this information and talked from the Quran and told us what was going on in the country. And having been the head of the anti-terrorism division since 9/11, he got out because it's all corrupt in DC. So he's teaching at the local level how to protect your communities through your local sheriffs who have the most power. You better hope you have a constitutional sheriff, and your pastors. That's where we are. We got to take it from the ground back up. But I think we can take it from the top down. That's why I'm running. But when I heard what he had to share, it was a meeting from 6:30 to 8:30. It didn't end until 12:45 that night. We took 2 restroom breaks and put on more coffee because nobody would leave, including me. And when I heard what he had to teach us that night, I got involved, and I've been serving on his board since 2014. We started teaching groups of 800 people in churches all over the state. We started training police and sheriffs through 3-day into action courses about the threat from the Islamic organizations and cooperatively working with communists inside our borders. Our country's infiltrated to the hilt. And having those training conferences and teaching, I had state reps and senators at my home one evening hearing us give this information to them at the State House. And that's when I was asked to run back in 2020 for a state Senate position. And I told the people that asked me, they said, you need to run for office. I said, you need to go get a drug test. I don't know anything about politics. This is all still pretty new to me. And so I agreed to run, and long story short, I lost by 5%. My election got stolen that year. It's a long story, but I almost won, and that was during COVID. We couldn't even knock on doors after like the end of February. People wouldn't let you speak to them. But so since then, we formed the United Patriots Alliance, and I did a review with my campaign team, and they all agreed we still need to stay in the fight and do something. So some of the things we've done is we helped stop the appointment of Henry McMaster, our governor, trying to appoint a health czar, Dr. Edward Simmer. We spent over $100,000 tactically direct mailing pieces to the Senate committees that were over the appointment of him, and we got 100 people to come to the State House on a couple of events with signage, and we went to the Grissett building and talked to every state senator to their face and asked them publicly with hundreds of people in the halls when they came off the elevators, or when 10 of us would go by their offices, what are they doing? They better vote no to this, because this is non-constitutional stuff we're putting up with. The government cannot choose our health choices. We have medical freedom. I don't need anybody telling me I have to get a vaccine or not, or wear a mask. I'm not going to do it if I don't want to. If you want to, you can. During COVID, I had to tell the police, OSHA and DHEC, to get out of my store. I told the police, if you're going to arrest me, arrest me. Come on, give me that story. This is an opinion you have. And my people, I've walked them off the cliff. They're not wearing masks, and we're not social distancing in here. And you didn't build this. God did. This is where we come to work. It's biblical. If you don't work, you don't eat. But we've done a lot of work in those areas with the United Patriots Alliance. We've taken bad actors out. We've helped get good ones in. We supported 34 candidates the last election cycle to help support the Freedom Caucus and other members get in and add more to it. And we had a lot of success with the money we spent and helped support all the good candidates to get them into office. And that's what it's all about. We gotta get these bad people out. I'm tired of the word rhino. I wanna tell you, the new word for me is traitor. And dump on that hat back there is offensive to some people. And I'm sorry that somebody that's for killing babies in the womb, and in 9 states voting to murder children in the womb up to the moment before delivery, is wicked as it gets. So that's a kind way to put it. It's time to dump it. It's time to replace it. I feel like I'm the guy that can do it. I'm gonna show y'all a couple little videos here, because I want everybody to remember Lindsey Graham's history. And in this first video, I'm gonna show you Lindsey's pro-life stance. When we did a poll, a Rasmussen poll a couple of weeks ago, we got good information back. 57% of the people in South Carolina would not vote for Lindsey Graham again. Now, he was endorsed by President Trump again. We knew he would probably get endorsed. There's like some underlying law that everybody's got to protect the incumbent, and nobody will help somebody running there. They want to protect the incumbent. And I know Trump's smart. The state loves Trump. The nation loves Trump. They love what he's doing. But they know that his endorsement won't save Lindsey this time. We're done with Lindsey Graham. But one of the things that upsets me the most is the life situation that we're in. As a Republican running for an office, I'm sworn to an oath to protect life. If we don't protect that, nothing else matters, y'all. And God's not gonna bless this nation if we continue to kill more than 63 million of our unborn who have equal protection rights inside the womb. It's murder. We need to call it murder. God decides when a human being is going to be created, even if it's in a violent situation of rape in a parking garage. That's horrible. But God can still do something awesome with that. And we were at a Charlie Kirk event at the University of South Carolina, and the #1 topic became pro-life, with a town hall meeting with students 18 to 21 years old coming up talking to him about anything they wanted to talk about. And when one of the students came up and said, "I'm so glad that my mother's attempt to murder me didn't work, because I'm here. I have life, y'all. I'm here." And another one came up and shared the same thing. That was awesome. These kids, this next generation come up, like your age, y'all get it. You're tired of the lies and the corruption and what's going on in the country. You're seeing it. Everybody's feeling the pain, and we're coming out. We're tired of it. So here's his stance. He talks about he's for 15 weeks. You can still abort a child. That's what a child looks like at that age. And he's so concerned. He said morally and scientifically the right thing to do is help them with an anesthesia so they don't feel the pain when the child's murdered. So he got endorsed by 3 partial life organizations that came out. He was on TV in Greenville, and he was endorsed, fighting for the unborn. He sent this out and mailed this out. And he was endorsed by the Susan B. Anthony Organization, National Right to Life, and South Carolina Citizens for Life. Those are all fake organizations. They're calling Lindsey Graham pro-life when he's for aborting, murdering children up to 15 weeks. So this is what we came up with as an answer.
No, it's this one right here. Should be connected. Hold on, let's try again.
Yep.
It's not connected. Let's just do this. Give me just a second. Maybe that went off. Oh, you know what turned off? There it goes.
Come on.
No Wi-Fi. So it's your phone. We just got connected to better Wi-Fi.
This brief intermission is brought to you by Mark Lynch.
Something to say, don't we?
Thank you for your patience.
Well, I had 3 bars. I don't know why it didn't go through, but let's try this other phone.
Oh, yeah. You have that magnetic personality within you.
All right, try it now. Us.
I'm Mark Lynch and I approve this message. Stand with us in the fight for life here in South Carolina. Go to lynchforsenate.com and join us in this fight. So that's my answer. I'm committed to doing everything I can in the murder of a defenseless child. We have killed 10 times more than Hitler killed Jews. He killed 6 million. We've killed 63 million. Right? We've got to get that ended. This next screen shows the International Republican Institute that Lindsey Graham's been on the board of, that he's overseeing. Doge brought out with USAID that he's overseeing $130.7 million reported, and he's been an active board member of IRI. And this is his statement about USAID.
Happy anniversary to all my friends at USAID. You've made a big difference in the world. You're a force for good. Create a great impression for our country. You change lives, take taxpayer dollars, and you improve the lives of others, which is good foreign policy, good national security policy. And to all the folks throughout the world who work for USAID, local hires, thank you. You're a great part of the team. I've been a big champion for a long time. Enjoy this anniversary. And when it comes to USAID, the best is yet to come.
I'm sure it is. So the corruption continues and he's lining his pockets. And it's all coming out. Right? Maybe he doesn't make it to the primary. He needs to be arrested. And he's a traitor. I'm sorry. We're paying for him to get rich out of his position. The next thing is, we had a lot of friends, we had over 200 people leave from our storefront to go to DC on January 6th to express their freedom of speech and their right to protest in a friendly manner in DC, that they felt the election was stolen, right? And this is what Lindsey Graham said about the people that came.
A separate meeting with Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, Fanone described the assault officers faced. And Fanone writes Graham responded, "You guys should have shot them all."
In the head.
I got it.
Yep. A lot of our people there were former military veterans that had served our country. The one lady that was killed was, right?
Air Force.
Horrible. So you see who he is and what he felt about that. And then on January the 20th, they had the Senate hearings, and I remember watching it live, and Mike Pence didn't hold it. And they all ran to where they thought it would be the more popular place for the future vote to manipulate votes for their office careers in politics.
Play this election. Trump and I, we've had a hell of a journey. I hate it being this way. Oh my God, I hate it. From my point of view, he's been a consequential president. But today, first thing you'll see. All I can say is count me out. Enough is enough. I've tried to be helpful. But when this Wisconsin ourselves, and when it's over, it is over. It is over. The final thing, Joe Biden, I've traveled the world with Joe. I hope he lost. I prayed he would lose. He won.
So that's what he believes. And then we have another video with him in the back seat of a car.
If you can't admire Joe Biden as a person, that's probably, you got a problem. You need to do some self-evaluation, because what's not to like?
When we started this campaign in March, we started getting a call, and we got a call from Breitbart News Organization, and they wanted to know what we were doing, because they've never seen Lindsey move to the right this soon in a campaign cycle, because he heard about me, and we're coming full bore to get him out. And we gave him some information, and there's an article on your table there that Breitbart wrote. It's about an intercommunication between Paul Harstad, the head of Obama's campaign staff, back when he was running, talking to John Podesta, who was in charge of Pizzagate over the sex trafficking of young children. Horrible. So there's an intercommunication going on they never thought would be public, but it's public now. And Obama and his campaign team says Lindsey Graham will be the greatest ally we have ever had to the Democrat Party. That's who he is. And then this is back when this next video, and we want everybody to see this. Our whole campaign, we're gonna make sure the history doesn't get forgotten about who Lindsey Graham is. Because this is all him saying, it's not me, I'm just showing you the history.
And you know how you make America great again? Tell Donald Trump to go to hell.
Yep, that's at the end of a news interview when he was running for president also. So he stabbed Trump in the back. Lindsey's been a traitor. He's betrayed the citizens of South Carolina. He's betraying all of America, and he's betraying Trump. Still.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome United States Senator Lindsey Graham.
This was in Pickens when Trump, this was the last election. Trump just won.
Yeah, boo.
This went on for 6 or 7 minutes. It went viral all over the country.
Welcome to Pickens. Thank y'all for coming. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a bunch. Well, you want to find something in common? He is going to win South Carolina This is the pathway to the presidency. God bless you all. God bless President Trump. God bless America.
Goodbye, Lindsey.
And then I had the pleasure to speak at Pickens reorg before the state convention. And Pickens got unseated. I don't believe what I heard. I think all that was set up. And I'm sorry if I was a part of it, because this is his neighborhood, Lindsey Graham's neighborhood. And I met a guy there that came up to me. I'd never met him before. He came up to me and said, "Mr. Lynch, I'm Kevin Bishop. I want to meet you." And Kevin Bishop worked for Lindsey Graham for 27 years. And I said, "Yeah, I read an article you put out about me this week, that if I won the primary, that would be an automatic deposit of a Democrat at the general election, because I don't have $100 million to fight the Democrat Party like Lindsey does." And Lindsey, if you look at his ledger from the last election, the majority of his money that came into his campaign was from the industrial military complex organizations, corporations like Boeing and Lockheed. He's been in the Ukraine, we've all seen that. So tell him what, I hope he doesn't get us into World War III. But anyway, so I told Kevin, I said, "Listen, let me tell you something. And I want you to tell your little boy, Lindsey, this too. We've had a Democrat in this seat for the last 22 years. Who are you fooling?" So we're trying to get the Democrats out. And I said, "Lindsey's just a man. And my God's bigger than that." He said, "What about Trump's endorsement?" I said, "Yeah, that's a win-win. Trump needs some more out of you, little boy, Lindsey. And he wants to get the big, beautiful bill passed and the Doge cuts and all these things. And he knows there's a clean Senate majority in D.C., so he still needs him. He's using him." And I said, "It's gone viral all over the country when Trump endorsed Lindsey. And the citizens of South Carolina and the whole nation said, 'We love you, President Trump. We're so grateful you're back in office and what you're doing. We love it. Keep it up. You're working hard. You're all in. You've been persecuted. You've been shot at. Thank you for getting back into office. But your endorsement won't save Lindsey. We're done with Lindsey.'" Trump brought this up on April the 8th of 24. I blame myself for Lindsey Graham, because the only reason he won in the great state of South Carolina is because I endorsed him. And then he endorses him again this year. So we knew that would probably happen, and that's okay, because endorsements are just that, and they don't always hold. He can change his endorsement, he may not, but we all have a brain, we have common sense, we get to vote for whoever we want to. Trump's endorsement doesn't make that a solid thing. So anyway, this is in Pickens, and that's Lindsey's hometown, and the whole room went crazy for me, like I was President Trump or something. I couldn't believe it. It was overwhelming, the favor that they showed me for running against him. And so that was an awesome day that day. I had on the same tie. This is the 250th celebration of our country, and I'm trying to be patriotic. I'm all in. And anyway, we had a great day that day, and a great speech, and just an overwhelming welcome. All right, next one I'm going to show you is our first commercial of our campaign. This will be coming out in about a week or so. It'll be across the whole state, and this is our TV commercial that's coming out.
Lynch, South Carolina's choice for true conservative leadership. Lynch is a leader in the Palmetto State, a successful businessman and job creator. Married 37 years with 4 grandchildren, Lynch will wage the battle for America's future, eradicate violent illegal invaders and terrorists, warmongering, backstabbing traitors, removed. Mark Lynch means integrity, honor, courage, and something America really needs: backbone. Paid for and authorized by Lynch for Senate.
My first run for state senate, people asked me to run again for something that wasn't anything to run for. They saw that in my push cards and everything back then, I put out that, you know, I won't compromise, I won't, I don't have to do this. God's called me to do it, we've answered the call. The people of South Carolina have pushed me to run because they know I'll do the right thing. My wife, no, she's biased, but she if I wasn't the real thing, she would say that too, I believe. I know her too well. And she's why I'm doing it too, because she believes in me, and she says, you know, there's nobody else I know we can get to run. You've got to run. You're the only one that we know of. And so I've chosen to do it. We're all in, and we're committed. We've been blessed. We've been blessed financially in our business. We've worked hard. I have for 40 years growing our business to the position it's in today. We're a member of a national buying group called the Nationwide Marketing Group that has 3,000 members in our industry. We're in the top 80 of the Brand Builder Council for the size of business we are. We run a debt-free organization. I just follow God's rules on finance. I don't want to be in bondage to the lender. And we're a cash company, and we don't have any debt personally or corporately. And because of the blessing God's given me, and I was told by Roger Stone when I met with him in his town in Florida, that Trump wants to see if you have skin in the game. And then he wants to see your polling. And he's getting that information because of the national security people I still work with that have been on the Reawaken America tour for the last 4 years with General Mike Flynn that I know personally and other people. They're getting our information to Trump. We talked to Susie Wiles the other day. That's Trump's head executive assistant. And so she says, you know, he's endorsed Lindsey. My consultant said, I know, but you've got to, he needs to meet Mark. So we're hoping that'll happen soon. But anyway, just to show everybody our commitment, we put $5 million of our own money into this campaign. That's from the Federal Election Commission Treasury account. We're for real. So I'm a viable candidate, and we're doing it. And I'm serious about what I do. And when I do something, I do it, and I do it under God's will. And I have a passion, and I do things correctly. And if I'm gonna do it, I'm all in. I'm not playing around. I don't need to do this, but I can't not do it. Knowing what I know about this country and the deep level of corruption that's going on, and where some of the root causes are coming from, I can't not run. And the first thing I need to do is get the evil people out of DC. And I'm gonna personally take Lindsey Graham out, and then we're gonna get rid of Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and other people that are Islamic people inside of our country running our government. That's gotta stop, y'all, and there's more. So on our push card here, I didn't put one of the most obvious things, and we've already printed it, but you know, I'm a constitutionalist. And I love the Lord. Jesus is my Lord and Savior. This is the answer. When I met Evan Mulch, he wore one of these crosses with a flag because our answer is only Jesus Christ in this country. As a constitutional, God-fearing country, the way this country was designed by our framers, our founding fathers, we came over here to worship the one true God and have freedom of religion to do that, and we've got to get back to Him. And if we make God first again, that makes America great again. It just does. That's the only way the Constitution works, is in a moral society honoring God in everything we do. And so my filter is God's Word first, the Bible. If there's a bill that comes across to me, or we need to vote on something, and it doesn't pass through the filter of the Bible, it's a nullification for me. It stops right there. We don't need it. We have too many bills. I want to get a rake and rake all the bills off and go find that little pocket constitution that'll fit right here and start running our country on that again.
That's right.
We don't need any more bills. We had people in the State House during COVID writing anti-swarming bills, you know, because people were stopping cars on 85. Are you kidding me? That's an obstruction of traffic. We already have laws against that. We don't need to write another bill. Some people in office feel like if they don't create more bills, that the voters don't believe they're doing their job. No, we just need to enforce the laws we already have. That's what we need to do. And I'm so thankful Trump sent 700 Marines in, or whatever he did, in the National Guard, because he's got an idiot. And Gavin Newsom is the governor there, and the mayor, they're crazy. And that's all part of the invasion that's happened. They're, waving Palestinian flags, and there's Islamic cooperative communist people with George Soros just destroying our cities. They're gonna try to burn cities down again, maybe this summer. And the real people that have a badge that are like us are gonna say, no, you're gonna get arrested and deported. And that's what needs to happen. But taxes, income tax and property tax is not constitutional. We're getting tariffs again. I'm so thankful for that, because I've seen in our industry, in the appliance and furniture and TV industry that we have in our store, we used to have brands like RCA, Motorola, Zenith, Philco. All those brands got taken away by the Japanese wave of Panasonic, Hitachi, Sony that came in. Now it's Korean brands coming in, LG, Samsung. They've entered the appliance market, and it's horrible what they're doing, and the quality's not there, and there's no service, and there's no parts, and they're able to produce stuff with labor at 32 cents an hour. Well, we pay our people more in this country. We produce a quality product. When I was a child, made in China, made in Mexico, made in Japan, it meant something. It meant junk, plastic. And so one way to get our inflation down and all is to get our manufacturing back in America again. Equal the cost. If you got 32 cents or whatever over there, and you're gonna bring in a French door refrigerator that sells for $2,000 in America, you can't be below our retail prices at the rates you've been at, because we're gonna keep American industry working, and we need to put America back on the forefront again to keep America first again. And the transmutilation of our children. Trump signed an executive order to end it, and then Judge Herson and Lindsey Graham was one of 3 U.S. senators that were Republicans, that voted for the appointment of Joe Biden's judge, Judge Herson, and that's the judge that overturned the executive order from Trump to end the transmutilation of our children. That's who Lindsey is. The Second Amendment, we don't need constitutional carry. All the work that Josh Kimbrell and all these guys did at the State House a year ago, and we got constitutional carry. Really? That was a waste of our money. We've had the right to carry a weapon since 1776. Why are you working on a bill to say I can carry it anyway? And it's an unalienable right God gave me in His Word. And the Constitution protects that, protects, if I get in, it protects y'all against me choosing to vote inappropriately to end something or start something new that's not constitutional. We already have the right to carry weapons, right? That shall not be infringed. Those are legal words at the strongest level in a courtroom. Our forefathers knew that if we ever give up our guns, that's the end of everything. Don't ever not talk to your people that are representing you in your districts. If they're ever going to do something like that, we need to get on the phone and call them and say, that's your butt will be out of office immediately if you go that route. You can go through the genocide charts in history in every country. If you've ever met anybody from Cuba or wherever, you can see what they've gone through. And the first thing they did is the government sucked them into believing you need to let the government protect you. We don't need guns. Turn them in, we'll buy them from you. And then the next day, they started killing their citizens. Enforce the rule of law. I've talked about that. We have to do it. And if Pam Bondi doesn't bring up something against the Epstein files, then she needs to go. She's talking about it. She has the list. We could probably all sit here and come up with a list of who we believe names are on those papers, and she needs to go do something about the list. Or she needs to go. If she's not gonna do her job and arrest people, then she's gotta be arrested, or she's being treasonous or something, or there's a reason she's been paid off to not do something with that. I won't put up with that in the US Senate. We're gonna hold people accountable to their job. They have to start arresting people. You've heard my stance on protecting the unborn. Finish the wall. Duh. Why do we have to talk about that anymore? In one of my daily meditation books, it says in our personal walk with the Lord in life, we're to have boundaries in our life, or we become like nations without borders and walls that are open for complete ruin and devastation. We have to set boundaries. There's a boundary in every other country. And Joe Biden and Hillary and all those people on the list of getting arrested, that's what I'll do. Those are treasonous acts that we've lived through with Benghazi or the border invasion that Biden and them let happen. It's just horrible. Lindsey put out a thing that he was so proud of, that he led the passage of the Lake and Riley Act to crack down on illegal immigration. And what a joke that is. I've called him out personally, and I hope he hears my call out again. I will pay to fly him to the Lake and Riley's parents' home, and I want him to go to the door with me and tell them how awesome he was. He never voted to close the border, and that's just one of our beautiful children in America that was raped and murdered by illegal aliens that have come across our border. It's insane. I have to run to stop this. Election fraud, we've all seen that. We've got to get back to paper ballots and IDs and all the stuff we know we need to do there. And stop the endless wars. Lindsey Graham's known as a warmonger, right? He's getting paid millions of dollars, and he's getting his greatest support from the industrial military complex organizations that build weapons. And we haven't won a war since World War II because we've not gone into war with a constitutional decision from Congress. We're not obeying the Constitution that we have. And that's why our country's in such a mess. So I'm about getting all that back and getting it back under control again, and influencing other senators and holding them accountable. There's meetings that, like in our buying group, and we're talking to the presidents of Whirlpool Corporation or Tempur-Pedic or Sony or whoever it is, when they're getting greedy and want to sell direct to consumers and all the stuff they're doing. Some of the greatest meetings we have are in the restroom or in the hall between the meeting before we go back into the meeting. With a microphone, I'll speak up and I'll expose the evil that's going on and keep people accountable to it. And I'll get on Fox News and I'll talk like I'm talking now. We got to get somebody in the office that will do the job that y'all hired us to do, not betraying us at every point. And so that's why I'm running. Any questions?
Mr. Lynch, I heard you speak about a lot of things. There's one subject I haven't heard you talk much about, and that's the subject I am most concerned about, and that's the great debt this country's got. I would like for you to cover that in your campaign, because Lindsey will not do anything about the debt.
No. Well, he's doing something about it. He's increasing.
Yes, but I'd like for you to make that a big issue in your
Yeah.
campaign.
Absolutely. No, I get it.
Please talk about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm for balancing the budget. We got a long way to go.
There you go.
But when we bring industrial manufacturing back to the United States again, when we stop endless wars, when we stop writing checks for $8 billion to our enemies like Iran, when we don't leave $85 billion worth of military equipment with the ISIS-led evacuation out of Afghanistan, our debt will start going down. And if we get rid of all the unconstitutional businesses that we've gotten into with healthcare, transportation, energy, all that will help fix the debt. And you know what I do, if like during a recession year back in 2006, is we have a meeting with everybody And we start talking about it. We gotta watch the pennies now, and I go through the financial statements and balance sheets and find any excessive spending, because my hand's on it. I sign every check in our company. We don't have an auto pen feature. And I actually look at it, I wanna see that we have a purchase order for something or a reason to balance. Why do I have a check to sign for this company without a purchase order to balance it? And it's got a match, but we don't sign it, you know?
Thank you, thank you.
Yes, no, I appreciate you bringing that up.
I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about Shane Massey?
Shane Massey, I think he's, you know,
Honestly.
if we look at his voting record, and he's not in my district, but, in his voting record here will tell us. Where is he? You,
In the Senate, so.
yeah.
Over Lower South
Yeah,
Carolina.
33% he voted constitutionally, 33%, that's a failure. Not good. You know, these guys aren't good, it's just like our kids, right? How you doing, how'd you do in your English test? Oh, I aced it. Well, that's funny, your report card came today, you failed it. You're failing us. You know, so he needs to go.
He does.
That's not a good voting record at all. That's voting records that the Democrats have. Yes,
When you speak to lobbyists, you know, these people went into office probably with good intentions. And then somewhere along the way, things get compromised. They are compromised probably by the industrial, the Boeings and the lobbyists.
yeah.
You have to have lobbyists? I mean, I'm naive, okay? You have to have lobbyists?
I don't. I
That's
guess
how they buy people
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
So,
That's all they do.
I wish it was illegal.
Yeah.
That's their job.
Well, in my personal life at work, I have an accountability team. My son asked us, what is our culture? And because he's third generation, and I said, I can tell you everything. He said, we don't have a written culture statement. He goes to these next gen meetings at the Bible where they teach about transitioning business down to the third generation or whatever. And I said, we don't have a written statement. I can tell you what our culture is. We love Jesus Christ, and we're the Navy SEALs of this industry. That's who we are. And so I have Navy SEAL brothers, I call them. That's just a term if you're in the Marines or whatever. It's just, I love Marines too. Austin that helps us in the Army, so I'm just using that as a figure of speech. Every branch has their elite forces, Delta Force or whatever. And I have those men in my life, in my company, at work. Just like a church has elders and deacons, I don't make any big decisions by myself. And I've invited men into my life, and I'll do this in the Senate too, that if I get out of line, I'll have people that will call my wife if they see me go to lunch with some woman. I'll have another.
Dead man walking.
Men see if I take money from somebody to vote the way they want me to, that I just vote that. And I want that. I could fall too, but I won't have protection plans and boundaries in my life when I do something at this level to keep me from making a bad move. I don't wanna fall. I don't wanna get there. I don't need the money. We're fine. I don't need to do this. I wanna do it, and I wanna do it for the right reasons. I pray I won't fall. I pray I won't get bought out. I pray I won't compromise. I'm telling you I won't, and I'm gonna hold to that. And you know, but I'm a man. I can fall, but I'm gonna have protection systems in place, just like I do in our business. I have the top executive people of our company at Jeff Lynch Appliance Center that know they can come in my office and pour ice water on me, hit me with a 2x4 and say, "What are you doing?" Because we cannot make a mistake. I'm humble. There was a time in my life I didn't do things so good. I got broken. I came to the end of Mark, and I know now, thank God, I don't have the pressure I don't have to be God and make every decision by myself. I don't want to. There's protection with many counselors. That's in Proverbs, right? With many counselors comes success. And I'm gonna have those people around me. That's the only reason we're doing as good as we do in business at our company in Greenville for 73 years in a debt-free, awesome, multi-million-dollar organization. I don't know how to run that, but boy, God sure does. And that's the kind of philosophy I take in everything I do. I don't have to know it then. I just gotta know the man who does. Yep. I told Kevin Bishop that at Pickens when he said, well, Trump endorsed Lindsey. I said, God's endorsing me. Okay? Who else?
You previously expressed disagreement in some President Trump's cabinet mix, like Pam Bondi. I know you touched on her earlier. I was just wondering if you could explain why you opposed her nomination, and then whether that nomination furthers like a disagreement in President Trump's judgment.
I don't oppose, I haven't said I oppose the nomination of Pam Bondi, but she's got to do her job. Anybody in that authority at that level has to go enforce the law, right? And Trump is a man too. He doesn't know everything. He's made some bad picks, in my opinion, of his cabinet. And he doesn't know, he can't know everybody, but the people I hang out with can help him. General Flynn and all the guys I've been hanging around for years that love Trump, that have been in the military intelligence communities and know and understand all this. And Trump gets it. And he just needs more, he needs better people around him. And we can all help that happen. Yeah.
Couple of things. Would you speak a little bit toward his big, beautiful budget?
Yeah.
And secondly, what do you think about term limits?
Okay, those are good ones. Love it. The big, beautiful bill, I've never read it. I can only go on what I'm reading and hearing in the news, like y'all. But, yeah, but the tax cuts and everything in the bill is awesome. But like Rand Paul and some other people have said, that, you know, there's multi-trillion-dollar expenditures added into it. There's pork in it, so I'd have to probably pass if that's what the bill says, and we're trying to make tax cuts and stop inflation and everything that we're trying to do with these big, beautiful bills. If it's got too much other heavy stuff in it that's erasing the whole point, I'm gonna have to probably pass on that. On term limits, if Trump was 45 years old, I'd hate to see him leave after 2 terms. If that's the term limit of a president or a U.S. senator or whatever we have. Term limits are up to us to vote people out and get the right people in. And it's a complicated thing. I'm for this. If I have a bad employee, he doesn't have a 6-year term like a U.S. Senate term is. He has a term based on if you're doing your job the way we hired you, and you're coming in and fulfilling your job description, and you're efficient. You know, being on time doesn't help that. That's just how you barely keep a job. You know, showing up on time, ready to work, not hungover, all that stuff. But if you're performing good, that's when you can get raises, when you're producing more, and we have profit sharing for our people. If you're not doing the right thing, you get a verbal warning, then you get a first strike, a second, a third strike, you chose to quit. You quit. People don't get fired, they quit. And if somebody in a position that works for us, we're the employer, we the people, the elected official is our employee, they don't work like they swore to an oath of the Republican Creed of South Carolina, a United States oath as a senator to protect against foreign or domestic, and you're not voting correctly, you're allowing open borders to happen. That's a treasonous act, in my opinion. You're allowing enemies to pour in here. I had a friend of mine go down to the border, and he said, I'm gonna go and see for myself. This was back in 2020, and his name's Tim Greer, Spartanburg County, a businessman, and he hired some mercenaries to go and protect him, and he got down to the border and made videos, and I said, let me tell you what you're gonna go see. When he came back, we had a big Republican meeting in Spartanburg that weekend, and he showed the videos. He had 79 people he saw pull up in a bus, clean clothes. Their feet weren't bleeding. They had been walking for 1,000 miles from Venezuela. They were walking across the river. They were getting $1,400 cash instead of dry clothing and a one-way bus ticket or plane ticket to report to their headquarters they were assigned to report to. They were clean-shaven Islamic terrorists coming into this country. They weren't mothers holding a baby that had walked thousands of miles in Exodus trying to have a new life. But if that type of voting is going on to allow the border to be open, then in my opinion, that's a treasonous activity. And you don't get to stay to the end of your 6-year term. You're leaving, and we'll have a special election to replace you. That's what I would do with term limits. Why do we have to let people stay the whole term and then try to vote them out? If they're not honoring the oath they signed, they need to go. That's what I would propose. That would be a new bill I would definitely work on. That's my answer for term limits. Do your job or you're leaving. You know.
I have a question. What would your approach be for our debt long-term? I mean, the debt, I'm not talking about the deficit in the budget this year. I'm talking about our multi-trillion-dollar debt, which is scary, and it is greatly concerning to me for the future of my children and my grandchildren. I haven't heard anybody, even Trump, talk about an overall, as my friend Paul would say, strategic plan for handling that debt long term. What would be your approach to that?
Well, the first approach would be to stop spending, like I would do in my personal life or in our business, is cut everything off. There's certain things we have to spend money on. There's going to be a power bill or gas for the trucks to go out on delivery or whatever, but any additional new ideas is going to stop. We've got to get everything under control. The next thing would be go through everything that's unconstitutional. Every organization we've allowed to be formed in this country that's not constitutional, that's taking budget, we're just printing more money to pay for these things. USAID, all these kind of things we've seen with Doge. It's kind of embarrassing to me for Trump or any of us or any president in the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years that we're talking about a Doge act. You know, they're going to actually look at stuff and try to clean up unnecessary spending and all the waste, abuse, and fraud in this country. Why isn't that an every day, every week, every month, every year? And I can't run our company like that at our size, and we're nothing like running the country. Running the country now, that ship is if you're off course a little bit, you're way off very quickly. And so that would, after we slow up any new additional spending bills or ideas, the next thing would be to go through, identify everything that's not constitutional, eliminate it. It needs to be eliminated and eliminate all the spending. Then get the tariffs leveled off, bring manufacturing back into America, stop relying on everybody else, drill baby drill. I love when Trump did that. We were self-supporting. Our gas prices went down tremendously. That helps. And be a country of peace and quit trying to control every other country, right? We don't have to go to these endless wars and get involved, and if we make a constitutional decision, then we're probably not going to go to war unless it's America first. You know, I think we had to go to World War II. In my opinion, God let us miss every indication when Pearl Harbor happened because we needed to go over there and stop Hitler from what he was doing. But we won that war because it was that decision to go was done correctly by the Constitution. And so it's going to take a while, but yes. And ultimately, I would want to see us get back on the gold standard. You know, I was looking at gold today, and I think it was a 1 ounce $50 gold coin was worth like $3,349 today. That's how messed up the dollar is. That $50 ounce of gold will buy what it always bought. That's just how far off our economy is. And we need to get back on that. The dollars in our wallets, these used to be an IOU note. Now it's just paper we still believe in and use to exchange, you know, for services and buy our food or gas with or whatever. But this $10 bill used to mean there was $10 of gold at Fort Knox. Nixon took us off that. God knows how to run an economy, and it's based on the blood and sweat and work it takes to get gold mined out of the ground, and we don't know how much there is of it. But if we just go to printing money as we need it, that's why we're in this problem. We've got to get back to just good basic standards again to run an economy God's way. What else? Well, I thank y'all. I thank y'all for having me tonight. I love seeing the work that y'all are doing here. It gives me hope at the local level, because all across the country, I think we're awake and we're stopping the woke craziness that's come out, and we're getting our country back. And we're bringing God back into it again. That's my platform, God first. And there will be decisions, maybe if I get in, maybe we're in World War III. Lord, I hope not. But whatever decision I have to make, it'll be done with prayer and with fasting and with good counsel and with people that God brings in to help me make a decision, so that I'm making a decision that I can stand on and know that it's the right thing to do. And that's all I can do in life. I don't know what else I can do.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah,
You know, we really do believe here in Saluda, and I hope you're seeing it everywhere, that we are really trying to get information into the grassroots. I think the Republican Party has not done the kind of job on that they should have in the past. And we're trying to give people hope that they have a place to put their voice and that it can make a difference, because people are discouraged. And so we appreciate you coming. We're hoping to be able to work with some other counties and have you back for other events and joint events with other counties here. But we really do appreciate it. And I appreciate you being the first speaker that I've had here as the chairman.
It's a privilege.
I really am pleased that you came.
Give this lady a hand, because you got a good chairman.